Hi knitters, I'm going to show you how to do the Marley topper today. It's on page 102 in Itty Bitty Hats. I used it on two hats. This is the pink pastel Marley. It's this kind of crazy, playful topper that you can put on any simple hat. So it's just a fun way to top off a hat. I have my little helper here with me today. Let's get started. What I did is I disassembled the original hat from Itty Bitty Hats. From the Rainbow Marley hat that's in the book, and so I have the pieces right here, but I'm going to show you quickly how to actually knit this. So you're going to cast on, and this specific number is in the book, and then you bind off as tightly as you can, and this creates the little strand that becomes a kind of curlicue. And normally you don't want to bind off tightly, but for this you want to keep the yarn taut as you're binding off, and it will start to kind of curl up on itself. So you bind off all the way until you have one stitch remaining on the needle. You've got one stitch left. See how that creates this kind of curly strand? That's a short one. I didn't do it as long as it actually is in the book. Then what you do is you leave that one stitch on the needle and you just cast on whatever number you're working with. I'm just using the backward loop, cast on. And then you do the same thing again and you bind off till you have one stitch left, and then you turn it around and cast on again. So I'm not going to do that for the sake of time, but you get the idea of that. So what I'm going to do is take a separate strand. Now normally when I'm doing this I leave a long tail on the end of each of these pieces, and I use that for sewing up. But since I took the hat apart, I don't have that, so I'm just going to do it with a separate strand. So what you do is you can see how these kind of lay out flat like that, and that flat edge will become the bottom of the pom-pom you're creating. And you are just going to roll this up on itself. So it's rolled up, you have the strands on one end and the flat end on the other, and you're just going to take some stitches going all the way through with your yarn needle. And you'll be able to see it with the pink. You would use, of course, the matching end to sew it up. Sew it up so it looks neat and tidy. Excuse me. And then you're going to take the next layer and you wrap that around. And with your thread, oh, mine's getting kind of tangled. And you're going to take some whip stitches, just going around this one. Okay, for the sake of time, I'm not going to do all of it, but you would do a neater job, of course, when you're working for your hat. But then just take the next layer and you would wind that around, whip stitch that on, and with the last layer, now these won't go all the way around, so I kind of layer them because your pom-pom's getting kind of big. And then you sew that, whip stitch it on, and then you have your curly topper. One other quick thing, and then you would just take the hat and sew that on to the hat using the whip stitch. That becomes your big pom-pom. If you find that you have a strand that's not curling, like this one for example, you can take your knitting needle and wind it around, give it a good squeeze there on the needle, and when you take it off it will be a curly again, curlicue. Alright, I hope that helped a little. Thanks for watching.
Bye.